Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the National Real Estate Post. Frank Ray here. I have a guest with me, of course. We'll get to that in just a second. As a reminder, Angel Oak is putting on a webinar next week on the 26th, where if you've got that deal, we've had a borrower's maybe got a recent credit event, foreclosure, bankruptcy, something like that, and you're just not fitting into QM guidelines or FHA VA guidelines, they've got a product with minimum down payments that may help you guys out. So you want to check with that webinar, click the banner you see over on your right, or on Facebook, there's a link. All right, well, let's get started. Yesterday, Brian, I did a show on the fact that the National Association of Home Builders has come out and basically said, hey, that mortgage interest tax deduction for homeowners, we're okay with it, maybe going away or changing up. In the Wall Street Journal article, the NBA in there said they're not dogmatic about anything, and they were like, kind of like not holding to their guns on anything per se. And I have an interview with David Stevens tomorrow from NBA to get his position, but I wanted to get someone as close as I could to, the top of NAR, and so you're our guy. I got a hold of you, Brian, through my Aunt Ginger, who's, I guess, the president of the Chicago Association of Realtors, but she handed me off to you because I wanted to get the thought process and where NAR stands on this whole notion of removing this tax deduction that's been around for a long time. What's NAR's stance on this so far?
So for 100 years, those who own a home have been able to write off the mortgage interest deduction and a portion of their state and local tax deduction. Now, this has been part of the tax code since its inception. This is not something new. This is not a giveaway. This is something that has been part of it since the very beginning. What the blueprint is proposing, at least in its conversational form, is getting rid of those two things. Now, the trade-off is a doubling of the standard deduction. Now, there's a whole bunch of finance implications to this. Most lenders, when they go through a worksheet, they try and figure out what that MID is going to look like, what that state and local tax deduction may look like, and that will kind of figure into how much house you can get. If you strip away all of that, well, you're in a different ballgame right from the start. There are also issues of double taxation go into this thing as well. But NAR is holding firm. We're going to fight all the way through on preserving the mortgage interest deduction as it is right now, and we're going to fight as hard as possible on the state and local tax deduction. Folks in California, New York, Illinois, and other high property tax states are going to feel it significantly. In fact, Frank, there's a sweet spot between $100,000 and $331,000 that folks within that salary range, meaning a cop married to a firefighter, and you guys might know about firefighting out in California right now, a teacher married to a healthcare worker, combined income of $100,000 to $331,000, those people are going to get creamed by this tax plan. This does nothing but gut home ownership at the very core. So there's a big reason for us to fight it, and there's even a bigger reason for groups like the home builders and for the mortgage lenders to get involved. Fact be told, if home builders don't build, realtors don't sell. But if realtors aren't selling, mortgage lenders aren't making deals. So there's a reason why they should be working and sticking with us. Their big reason for staying out of the fight is they're involved in some development tax credits that they want to preserve as part of this. But as it stands right now, anything that guts the middle class is bad for consumers. It's bad for this nation. And that's why we're fighting so hard on the MID and the state and local tax deduction.
Well, that's a fantastic answer. I appreciate that. And of course, over here at the National Real Estate Post, we feel the same way. We think it should stick around. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is I think I saw that NAR has spent somewhere around $60 some odd million in 2016 in legislative work up on the Hill. So NAR, obviously one of the biggest trade groups, if not the biggest trade group out there, is definitely opposed to this change, and so they're probably going to have a pretty big impact up on the Hill when it comes to paperwork actually getting started. And I'd like you to comment on this as well. Right now, you said everything's speculative. Nothing is really engraved in stone. You're waiting basically to see a bill get produced. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. It's very hard as a lobbyist. There's the cocktail party talk. There's the staff talk. There's somebody's cousin's nephew's brother heard from someone else's congressman.
Yeah.
That until it's a bill, until it's introduced, no one can go beyond what has been said. What has been said is indefensible. It's intolerable. It's nothing that is helpful to home ownership, promoting home ownership, and keeping neighborhoods stable. Look, homeowners pay a preponderance, well over 85% of the taxes that are paid by homeowners. The quickest path to wealth is through homeownership. And when you gut those things fundamentally, you start asking the question, what are you trying to do to the economy? You start getting into a renter society. And there's one other thing that I think is something that usually gets missed because I think on the real estate side, we're always looking at the transaction and development. But this Realtor Association, the Chicago Association of Realtors, the Illinois Realtors, NAR, look, we're also into sustaining neighborhoods. And as everyone knows, with the mortgage interest deduction, it is a declining benefit over time. The longer you have the longer the benefit of the MID is. With the state and local tax deduction, as the value of the property goes up and as property taxes go up, that continues well beyond. That goes beyond the 30-year term of your mortgage. So we're talking about keeping people and seniors in homes. How do you keep seniors in homes? How do you keep neighborhoods stable? You protect the state and local tax deduction. You protect the mortgage interest.
Fantastic stuff. So as we go forward, and if we start seeing some information coming out from the Hill, if we see a bill actually get introduced, that type of thing, is it okay if we touch base with you again, Brian? Because we're definitely going to, I think everyone in the industry is going to want, or most people in the industry are going to want to keep the deduction in place the way it sits. And so I think our audience